Today, we can answer the question, what does the renaming of the Brecon Beacons National Park have to do with the town of LLanelli? Yes folks, we're in LLanelli, a lovely town, a big town, a large population these days of some 40,000 people, and it's got everything. It's got a big house, and we're starting at the big house, and this may not be the only big house we introduce you to today, but this one was built in 1885 by the family, the Buckley's family, who were a big brewing family down here, one of the two major brewers in this part of the world, and they built this house. But it got sold. It was bought in 1911 by Sir Stafford Howard at the time of his marriage to his second wife, Lady Catherine Stepney. And 1 year after they bought it, to mark their first wedding anniversary, they gave this house and all of the grounds to the town. What a nice gift. Now, the house serves as a museum these days, but it's having some refurbishment done, so we can't go in. But Caroline, I'm sure, will have great time taking you around the outside of the house, showing you some of the architecture and the grounds, because these are laid out beautifully. And later, I'll let you know what the lady of this house, who is said to ride in a ghost's carriage even to these days, has to do with car parts and Malta.
Oh, look at these gardens. Now, I'm no plant aficionado. I don't know the proper Latin names of most things, but I do know that they are geranium. We'll call them Geranium leafius frillius because they got frilly leaves. Not sure what colour they'll be. They're usually in like pinks or blues, mauves, that sort of colour. And if we pop over here, let's have a look at these beds. Look at that, that's quite spectacular. Now I think, and this is only a think, I think that there, in the middle, the big spiky one, is a phormium. But again, I could be wrong, but if not, it's a phormium longius spikius leafius. And then down here we got, oh, this almost looks like a curry plant. No, I'm not quite sure what that is. It's smelly. It's got quite a sage smell to it, but I'm not really sure if it is a sage. My sage has got very broad leaves compared to that. This bed along the front is gorgeous. This is what I call elephant ears, and you can see why by the shape on the leaves. Gorgeous plant, and very nice when it comes into flower in the spring. There's not a lot going on in the spring other than spring bulbs, so they're always a welcome sight in my garden. And we got some hebe bushes there and some variegated euphorbia there. Oh, let's go have a look at those little daisy things. Oh, they're lovely, so delicate. I don't know what they are. What should we call those? Whiteus, daisius, yellowy midleybitius. That's what we'll call those. In this bed we've got some sedum. They come up with a gorgeous pink flower. I've got sedum in my garden. And we've got some bluebells poking out the side of that sedum. And a few weeds. This rose bed is going to look magnificent in a short while. Oh, they've left a label on one. Let's see what this one is, if we can see. It's a modern shrub rose. Without my glasses on, I can't see what it is. So you'll have to tell me because you can see better than I can. Very nice. It's one of those cabbage roses. They look like a cabbage. Oh, look at those tulips. We walk down these steps, which are very grand, and go have a look at some more tulips down here. They've got some beautifully coloured ones down here. I love the subtle tones of these. You see tulips, and generally they're in quite garish colours, which I don't mind, but look at those. Another rose, more geraniums, right along the bed, and all looking up at the house. And there's more garden to see. We've got an Acer there. Let's have a look at this. I love these, mainly in the autumn. That's my favourite time for an Acer. They look wonderful. Look at those fluffy leaves. So this could have to be an Acer fluffius leafius. Oh, look at this. This reminds me of when I was younger. It's a big old fir tree, and there are always big spaces underneath these fir trees, and you can see the path has been worn here by other children over the decades, coming under and pretending it's their camp. One of my favourite things to do. Look at that. You're hidden away in your own little private space.
The thing I love about these as well is they are brilliant for children to climb on. And you can see where they're worn, where
So
a million feet have clambered on there, and I dare say quite a few children have got that eye and sat, and you can see the wear, the patina on the tree. And there's less of it the higher you go.
What a sight. Ooh, you're all in the dark.
I know, but we always choose my positioning so the sun is the right way so you can see me. But today I just want you to see the view behind me, because when you look at this view you understand why they built the tower on the house, because that would have given them the perfect spot to take a look out right over the town below. You can see the church spire down there, right out to the sea. What a glorious view. What a wonderful park. And of course the local authority was so pleased when they were given this by the family that they actually wrote in the stone pillar. It's there to this day, open to the public, 21st of September 1912, and it's been open ever since, and we are loving our visit here today. Hope you're enjoying it as well.
You can even play some bowls if you want to. The views are amazing, but if you fancy just doing a little bit of exercise, you can climb up those big rocks, climb up the spider's web, you can go on the zip line, or you can just wander around the Eisteddfod standing stones that we've shown you in quite a few places now. But what a view! This bed is just bursting into life. You can see there, I'm pretty sure they are Hemerocallis, which is day lilies, and Crocosmia. There's something growing in the middle. I know it comes out like fluffy pink or fluffy white, but I can't remember the name. If you know the name, let me know. And we've got some hostas just popping around, otherwise known as slug treats. They adore hostas. Some ornamental grasses. Are they a stilby? Just came to mind. Maybe, may not be. They look like asters over there, and some more ornamental grasses, some primroses, and pampas grass. Being in a park isn't always the safest place in the world, and as you can see here, there's some wire around these azaleas because they must be the dreaded killer azalea. So I'm not going to go too close because I could become an azalea's dinner. There's another one over here. So just take care if you come to this park. It's not as safe as you would imagine. I love this porch. It's not the average porch for you to stand under while you unlock your door. This is one that you could have brought your horse and carriage into and driven right up to the door, got out, got into the house without getting wet. And then you could get your coach driver to drive on and around into the stables. And let's have a look at the view out there. There's the garden again. Doesn't it look wonderful? Just mowing that lawn would take you forever.
Hello everyone, I'm down at the duck pond, but there's a big notice saying do not feed the ducks, I prefer corn. So I haven't brought any corn or grapes or lettuce, so that's what it says on the list. And actually at the moment there's no ducks near me anyway, so we're going to make a move now, and the next place we're going to visit is linked to the name of the town, LLanelli, because this town is named after a saint, as are so many places in Wales. And Saint Elli lived here around about 500-600 AD, and as well as a church that is named after her, that is on the spot where she used to pray back in the days of the saints, there is also a bay here. So we have Saint Elli Church and we have Saint Elli Bay, and now we're going to go visit the bay.
Aha! What do we have here?
Driftwood.
It's a bit of driftwood, yep. Rather large bit of driftwood.
Do you like my driftwood?
I like it, but I don't think we'd be taking it home.
Do you think it looks like an animal?
It does, sort of. A sea serpent.
Do you think it's too big?
Yes.
That's okay, because I know a lot of people out there never thought they'd hear these words from my lips again, but I found a brick.
Oh, well done. What brick's that?
Star Newport.
Oh, we've seen a few of those in our time.
We have, but this is a rather well washed and worn one. The thing is, the bricks and bits and pieces along the beach is because at one time this beach was just lined with industry, factories, tin plate works, all sorts of things, and for that reason most people in Wales even don't think of LLanelli as a coastal fronted beach place. But thanks to the Millennium Park that's been built, now it is transformed, and we'll show you a little of that now as we walk back along the beach to get an ice cream.
Ooh, quick, let's go.
We're on the front, on the west coast of Wales. The Bay of Carmarthen is out there. The breeze is blowing in, and this is what you need. And I'm sat here in a sun trap, absolutely loving it. But Caroline is insisting that we keep moving.
Yes,
because
the ice cream.
The ice cream's getting ever closer. But I hope you're enjoying the view as we go. Come on then, let's do the last 200 yards and get that ice cream.
And look. Goes round and around and around. There's seating all the way around, and there's the gap at the front for you to look out at that fabulous view. Look at that. Who wouldn't want to sit here and just stare and think and contemplate life? Beautiful.
Hi folks, we're just heading in for an ice cream and we've met a local, and you know how much we love talking to locals, and Keith is not just a local, but I have just done a selfie with him for his TikTok.
A TikTok selfie?
There we go.
No better on a Tuesday.
So what's the name of your TikTok?
My TikTok is at KeithTom2014.
Right.
And you obviously want to know what I do on it.
Of
I do a
course.
bit of dad dancing.
Oh.
I'm a Swansea bus driver. I also have an ostomy, which I've had 11 years, and I try my best to help other people who have ostomies and who are going through the same surgery. So if you want to follow me on TikTok at KeithTom2014, I'm also on Twitter at KeithTom2014. You can find me anywhere.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
If you didn't
problem.
get that, it's
At Keaton 2014.
there you go. I thought that's what you said. Absolutely
Lovely to
brilliant
meet
to
you.
meet
Thank
you.
you.
And what a gorgeous part of the world you live in.
Authentic gelato made here. Gelateria, fresh every day. Open from 11 till 6. Welcome to Gelateria. Ooh, should we go in? What do you think? Should we go in? Come on then. Ooh, we're in the ice cream shop.
Yes, and we've had permission to film from this very nice young man with the St. Ethely's Bay bib on.
What's your name?
Ashley, mine is.
Hello, Ashley.
Ashley,
Hello.
you live local?
Yeah, it's just on the road.
Nice place.
It's lovely when the weather's nice.
And it is cracking today.
Yes, it's lovely.
Yeah, which is why we're here to buy some
An
ice cream.
So, let's have a look at your flavours. What do you recommend, Ashley?
What would I recommend? Because I'm a coffee lover, I go for the coffee.
Right.
So we have got the cherry and the wild apple, the apple sorbet. Well, I'm going to give you a taste of both of them because to me that tastes like the Skittles, sour Skittles.
All right. There you go.
You ready, folks? Make you all jealous now.
no,
What does it
no,
taste like to you? Does it taste like sour Skittles? I'll try it. Oh, it's a powerful flavour again.
Let's try that.
And then that's the apple sorbet.
Ooh. Apple sorbet. Apple sorbet coming in, folks. There we go. Hope you missed it. I'll have it.
What do you reckon?
Now that is full of apples.
Very appley.
Full of vegan apples.
Very cold.
Very cold. It's all cold, but it's a nice sunny day. So
So what are you gonna
certainly
have?
got some bright colours, haven't we?
So much temptation. Oh, right. Can I be really awkward and ask for half raspberry ripple and half the apple one?
So yeah.
I know I'm fussy.
Which one would you want in first?
The raspberry ripple, please.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And a serviette too.
Oh, I forgot to ask, are they low calorie?
Calorie free, fat free, and sin free. If
Right.
they come on a Sunday.
Right.
Would that be anything else?
That's it, thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Put your
That's magic.
thing away
Would you
first.
like any receipts?
Right.
Well, thank you very much.
No,
Thank you, Ashley.
That's
Yeah,
Lovely.
thank you. We're going to go and enjoy our ice cream now. Thank you. Bye.
All the best, bye.
All the best.
What a very nice man.
Wasn't he lovely?
And what nice, I tell you what, folks, Caroline just pinched a bit of my Turkish delight.
I wouldn't do that.
In fact, she's pinching more of it now. It tastes just like Fry's
Bar-
Turkish
yes.
Delight, a bar of Fry's Turkish Delight, only made of ice cream and put in a cone. And it is awesome. So we're going to tuck into these. We're sat back in the car, so there's no breeze. It's boiling now in the sun sitting here, which is just the way it should be to eat an ice cream. But if I don't eat it quick, it's going to melt. So I hope we haven't made anyone jealous. But now I'm going to tuck in, eat up, and then it's straight over to town to see the Church of St. Ethely, which the bay is named after the same lady, and so is the...
You drinking your ice cream?
I'm drinking ice cream.
It's so hot.
It's St. Ethely's Bay Cafe and Bistro and a lovely ice cream parlour attached. What's not to like? here we are, from St Ellie's Bay to St Ellie's Church. Now this actual location was used for worship in the monastic times, 5th, 6th century, and that's when St Ellie would have been here in prayer. But of course the church that stands here today, the oldest part is the tower there, which is a Norman tower. The font here, 13th century. But one of the claim to fame for this particular church is that they were given a gift by a very, very important person, Queen Elizabeth I. She gave a gift of a silver chalice, and that is still held here at the church. And at Easter and Christmas, when they celebrate Holy Communion, they use the chalice that was gifted by Queen Elizabeth I, which is quite a nice gift to get. But of course I did mention that I would explain a link between LLanelli and the renaming of the Brecon Beacons National Park. And here it is. Because St Ellie, her father or grandfather, now it gets a little bit confusing when you're looking at birth certificates and going back, you know, the best part of 1,500 years. But it was either a father or grandfather was the King of Brecon, and they have named the Brecon Beacons National Park after her grandfather or father. So that's where the link comes in between the renaming of the Brecon Beacons, which has happened just in the last week or so, and LLanelli. Another interesting thing is, up until the 1960s, LLanelli was spelt with a Y at the end, which is the anglicised version. But then the local authority took the decision that it would have an I at the end, which is the Welsh way of pronouncing and writing it. That is why as we go around today you may see LLanelli with a Y and LLanelli with an I, because they decided no one would be made to change the lettering, as that would incur additional cost to local businesses. But everything from there on would be with an I. So there we go. Little bit of information about the Welsh language too. And if we turn around from where Caroline is standing now, I'll be able to show you something else that I mentioned, which was when I said the first fine house we saw may not be the only one, because right opposite this church is what is described as one of the finest pieces of Tudor architecture in Wales. Originally it was a house surrounded by gardens. It was later converted into 4 dwellings. Then the gardens were so beautiful they opened them as a pleasure garden for people to come into. And then of course the town grew and the shops were built. But let's take you across and show you a little bit closer now. Well, it is a fine house with beautiful Georgian windows, and I've got to be honest, one of the nicest downpipes that I've seen, not only in Wales but anywhere we've travelled. So claim to fame, the prettiest drain pipes are in LLanelli. But of course we still need to answer another question, and I'll answer that for you right now as we go to another street. Here we are, just a little way across town, and behind me is what I think is one of the most beautiful shops here in LLanelli. It's now the Halifax, but as I say, don't look at the shop, look above and you'll see the beauty, and it is a beaut. And that is the corner of Stepney Street. Now here's where the link comes in. Stepney Street, as you'll imagine, is named after Lady Catherine Stepney, the lady who married the gentleman and then gave away their house so that everyone in LLanelli could enjoy the gardens as we did a little earlier. But it was also on Stepney Street in 1895 the 2 brothers, the Davis brothers, opened an ironmonger's. Then they opened a bicycle shop, And then they opened a small workshop garage for bicycles and motors. And in 1904, they hit the jackpot, because at this point the cars were beginning to take to the roads, but the one thing everyone feared was a blowout. If you had a flat tyre, you were stuck. No one had come up with the idea of a spare wheel. So they did, and they invented the Stepney spare wheel and started production and created a business and made a fortune. Now, it wasn't a spare wheel like we know today. It had clamps on it, it was slightly larger than a wheel, had a rubber tyre, and you bolted it and clamped it onto the wheel that had burst, and you could use it. It's one of them get-home jobs. You wouldn't go far on it, but it was popular. What helped its popularity was that all the London taxis were equipped with them. Now, London, that's where the name Stepney comes from, and that's where Lady Catherine's family originally founded their wealth, way back. But part of the family moved down to Wales and did very well here. So that's how the name Stepney got here. Her and her generosity put Stepney on the map in Llanelli. Stepney Street was where they made the wheel, so they named it the Stepney wheel. So that's the link between the lady at the big house and the spare part. But where does Malta come in? Well, it's not just Malta. Malta, Bangladesh, there are places around the world where the word for spare wheel is still a Stepney. So there we are. That's the link. One of the things you can't miss as you walk around this town is the amount of development that's gone on over the centuries. Also development that's happening right now, as is just behind me, because this gorgeous building was once the YMCA. Well, wherever the project is, I'm sure it's going to give this building a new lease of life, just as has happened so often around here, including at Llanelli Cinema, spelt with a Y, because it was prior to the change in the 1960s, which is now the local Wetherspoons. And I'm sure we'll be enjoying some food there during our stay in Llanelli. Brilliant thing is, there's still a bike shop here on Stepney Street, right behind me there, and it's called On Your Bike. What a brilliant thing to see. And we're making our way across into Market Street, and there I'll share something with you of the history of this place, a first for Llanelli. What a town. And to think that in 1556 there were only 12 households, and now 40,000 people. And such industry over the years, with the mining, the steels, particularly the tin works, because this place was known as Tinopolis because it produced the majority of the world's tin plate at one point. But these days, shops. We've shown you a bit of the architecture as we've walked through. Beautiful buildings. This has a Tesco Extra, Morrison's, Asda's, it's got M&S, there is all sorts of stores. But in 1958, this was the town where Co-op decided to open the very first purpose-built supermarket in Wales. Yes, folks, not Cardiff, not Swansea, Llanelli. And it was opened right here on Market Street. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our trip around Llanelli. I hope you've had a great time as much as we have. We have loved it. It's a brilliant town with, I'm sure, a brilliant future, and they make awesome ice cream out there at St Echlys Bay. If you have, then come on, give us a thumbs up.
Doing, doing, doing.
And of course, if you know friends who'd like to join us on our travels, share the link. But as always, till the next time we're out and about, don't forget, have fun. Bye.
Bye.